although they are all game changers in their own way. Teal, as the first second tier stage, one of its primary aspects is that it sees these other altitudes. It sees green and orange and amber and red and magenta and infrared, and there's an active awareness there. It doesn't call them those names, those colors. It might use a different system. It might use no system at all and only be an intuitive understanding, in which case a system like this would be extremely valuable to discover. But it will start to pick apart the world in terms of comprehensible systems and patterns replicating, data patterns replicating. So something resembling memetics will produce something resembling developmental stage theory. In terms of the big concentrations of people that you find, you're seeing small proportion of red meme in the adult population, larger amber, and then about equal orange. So the society that you're interacting with today, in general, depending on who you are and what you do, you're generally interacting with those four altitude memes. Those are the ones that are really present and healthy and existing and fighting with each other in the world today. You just walk down the street and probably point them out. You should be able to do that because nobody's off the charts. They may be overlapping in various areas, but you can kind of tell. You could judge, you could guess, you could profile, stereotype. You could look at how someone's dressed, sorts of things they say, and go, is this more arising from that altitude or that altitude? And usually what's scary and weird here is that you'll find, not that that's hard to do, but that it's so easy to do that you're almost like, oh my God, everything I'm exposed to is just like a replication of something that I've been exposed to before. Like I'm not actually interacting with human beings, I'm interacting with patterns. You know, like if I see a bird outside, it might go woo woo woo, you know, it might make a particular sound. Then I go to a whole other state, I might hear that same woo woo woo. It's like, what is that? How does that bird do that? It's not the same bird, it's a genetic pattern that birds that look like that always throw at me. So that bird isn't being very original or creative. And the point is, neither is anyone. Starting with second tier, selfhood kind of breaks down in general, not merely redefining your racial identity or your gender identity or anything like that, but like what it is to be a human being, a questioning of the identity with the human body and with human civilization and humanism. Teal sees itself as very modular, very compartmentalized, and very changeable. Teal would not generally make the claim, I'm just like that, this is just in my nature, this is just how I am. Teal would be like, how expensive is it for me to change that? Like what could go wrong if I change this aspect of myself, this pattern, this behavior, this meme, this lifestyle choice? But always open to the possibility of being a completely different identity with a completely different orientation on life. Specifically that I am completely wrong about everything that I think and believe. We do find ourselves in an echo chamber of prejudice. Teal is very concerned about like, well, how do you not do that? How do you live in a way that exposes you to quality information and information that you need, given that you only focus on things in a specific way? How can I get information that I feel like is irrelevant to me? How much of that do I need? What do I need to keep up with really in real life? And if I'm to balance being a conscious organism as well as having a career or some sort of expertise, Teal tends to really recognize that there's so much to learn about everything and that so much of life is just learning new things and choosing what things to learn. There is no significant really Teal movement in the world that I would necessarily describe that you can see plainly. I accept this fate. I'll be one of the 12 people representing altitudes to a world that I think would benefit greatly from seeing things more in terms of developmental stages and understanding really what the differences between people and what the difference between cultures is. Teal is sort of a universal donor in terms of interacting with people and personality, which is to say amber, orange, green, and teal all get on an elevator together and they all have their interactions, and everyone hates everyone else unless they're on the same first tier altitude, first tier stage or meme. Everyone hates everyone else, except Teal didn't hate any of them, and none of them hated Teal. So it's sort of a universal donor. They didn't love him, but you're not generally hated because Teal comprehends where everybody's coming from. This map, this altitudes map, or these stage theories are particularly relevant to Teal, to the first, second tier stage. From there, they become less relevant. So the idea of continuing to build altitudes on top is not so necessary. Like the top can be open-ended indefinitely because this is only a way of seeing the world that seems to be valuable right now at Teal. The real point is that the reason what's generating conflict in the world is that these memes are existing in the same world and that they are not compatible with one another for the most part. Teal's goal is to increase compatibility, not to make everyone grow up, but to help synthesize this system into something that is more compatible. That's kind of what Teal would try to accomplish there. So let's see, that is 2 hours and 3 minutes. But yeah, that's altitudes to the best of my ability off the top of my head.